Is Fauxductivity really a thing? Oh yeah. It's creating a drain on output and impairing organizational function. Want a few ideas on how to address it? Watch this short video. I'm Bob Wendover. Over the past several years, we've seen a bunch of made-up terms to illustrate the many changing behaviors of those in the workplace. These include things like quiet quitting and bore-out and coffee badging and job cuffing. And now there's Fauxductivity. As the term infers, Fauxductivity means people who have made themselves look busy by engaging in activities that create the appearance of words without really contributing to meaningful results. Now, this can include things like attending unnecessary meetings, using tools that simulate online worker presence, and maybe explaining to everybody else around them all the tasks they're accomplishing. I might argue that there are people in every organization who are committing Fauxductivity these days. Who might they be within your workplace? And more importantly, who's responsible for promoting this behavior? Yes, I said promoting. You see, this kind of behavior coincides with findings that the majority of employees feel overwhelmed at least a portion of every week and disengaged from the work they do. In other words, they're kind of going through the motions. Now, add to this the belief among more and more people that work should only be a slice of a more balanced life, and you can understand the temptation to make it look like you're actually accomplishing more than you really are. Now, you might argue that these people have a responsibility to do the best job they can, and philosophically I agree with you. But along with this, we have to ask ourselves why. Why do the majority of employees feel overwhelmed? Why do they feel disengaged? And why are they increasingly focused on everything but work? Having watched this evolution over the past 30 plus years, I can offer a few suggestions and observations. You see, these attitudes and beliefs did not develop overnight. Digital technology, for instance, has enabled us to work more and more efficiently in some ways. But it's now overloading us with other tasks such as endless sign-ins and two-factor authentications and software updates and all the other distracting emails and spam that drain our energy. And then there's the impact of asynchronous communication. We no longer interact in real time most of the time, which disrupts our train of thought and discourages the development of personal relationships. We sign in exactly 1 minute before the virtual meeting, and the host ends the meeting immediately after its conclusion. There's really no opportunity for the small talk and checking in that used to allow for coworkers to become something more than just colleagues. And as a result, there's little chance for trust and empathy to develop within the workplace. Isn't it any wonder then that more and more people express a sense of loneliness at work? Now, I could go on, but you get the idea. It's simple. When you feel overwhelmed and detached, it's tempting to look for ways to just kind of look busy so you can navigate the pressure-filled but detached workplace. That's Fauxductivity. So, what to do? In my mind, it really comes down to three things. First, the effective communication of a clear direction from the top, along with an expression and demonstration of corporate vision and values. And second, connection and personal relationships. This means fostering opportunities for real-time conversations and small talk that encourages coworkers to develop that trust and empathy I mentioned before. After all, if I don't really know you, I'm a lot less likely to collaborate with you in a meaningful way. And third, identifying and celebrating the sense of contribution and accomplishment that we all desire to know that we're making a difference. When was the last time that someone celebrated your contribution to the organizational effort? I don't mean the big stuff. I'm talking about how you contribute on a daily and weekly basis through encouragement and suggestions and selfless acts. And how about the people around you? Would they appreciate more kind words and compliments as well? Since all three of these require an adjustment in organizational culture, there's no short-term fixes, are there? That said, actions do speak louder than words. Most employers try to change cultural attitudes from the top down, but coaching leaders and managers within specific units is a much better way to begin. The challenge, of course, is getting those leaders and managers to kind of adjust their own entrenched beliefs. So, what to do? Well, I can't give you a laundry list of ideas in this video. Besides, if I did, they would probably go in one ear and out the other, right? But here are 3 ways to start that will not disrupt your busy days nor distract you from all the tasks on your plate. If you're leading the organization, encourage your managers and supervisors to adapt these as well. Of course, what you model yourself is actually what you'll get because people are watching. So, first, walk the office or work environment. Rather than taking the shortest distance to the restroom or maybe the parking lot, take the long way and say hello to people you don't normally see. Pick a different person each time. Ask how they're doing. Compliment something they're wearing. Mention the poster or the art in their work area. Maybe take 30 seconds for small talk. Now, a few people might be suspicious of this at first, as in, what is she up to or why is he doing this? But they will warm up over time if you make it a habit. And this doesn't have to take more than maybe 30 seconds or a minute each time, but it will promote a sense of civility that is lacking in so many workplaces these days. Now, second, leave the portal open before and after meetings. This will allow people to check in and chat and maybe solve a quick problem instead of having to track somebody down at a separate time. Not everyone will take advantage of this, of course, and acceptance of it will take time to evolve. But if you explain to people why you're doing it, those interested will welcome the opportunity. Third, celebrate the little contributions. As a leader, it's easy to become isolated from those on the so-called front line. Years ago, I interviewed the general manager of a resort employing more than 1,000 people. Recognizing that he was becoming distant from those having the most guest impact, he asked his supervisors to let him know about all the little good things that people were doing and, kind of let him know, just jot him a note or something like that. And then once a week, he would jot short notes of thanks to those people to thank them for their contributions to the overall effort. Then an assistant would send these notes home. And he said it worked wonders for morale and retention. How can you update and implement this practice? And by the way, an email is not the same as a handwritten note left on a desk. Even after sharing just these few ideas, you may be thinking, I don't have time for all of this. What am I going to do? So, just add one. If you simply take the long way through the workplace when going for coffee or maybe lunch, you'll be establishing a presence that will improve engagement and discourage Fauxductivity. What do you do to improve engagement and discourage Fauxductivity in your workplace? We'd all like to know. Put those ideas in the comments below and make sure to subscribe to this channel for more practical ideas just like these. I'm Bob Wendover.